One. Welcome to another episode of Trading WTF, Where to Focus. Today we have a very special episode directed to the crypto universe, the cryptoverse. We have Nikita Sachdev from Luna PR and Jess Davis from Uberstate. Nikita is the co-founder of Luna PR, a PR and marketing agency focused on blockchain, crypto, fintech, and other innovative businesses. Before launching her PR firm, Nikita held brand ambassador positions for well-known crypto trading platforms, Qume and Huobi. Nikita also co-founded Luna Management, a talent, model, and production agency working with large brands such as Unilever, PayPal, Gucci, Omega, Singapore Yacht Show, Nespresso, Breitling, and more. Nikita earned her bachelor's degree in business and environmental science from James Cook University. And Jess is the CEO of Uberstate, a digital asset wallet for unlocking the liquidity in digital assets. Uberstate is based in Canada as a money service business and regulated by FINTRAC. Users can stake against various digital real estate assets and currencies to access capital without disposing of the asset. Uberstate also offers various investment products such as micro FX funds, OTC purchases, and I know coming soon is some really cool Visa debit cards. Jess comes from a legacy background in banking and commercial real estate industries and is disrupting them with Uberstate's proprietary cryptocurrency called RIT 2.0, RIT 2.0, for buy and sell transactions in real estate. Jess is a graduate of Visual and Fine Arts from York University. And let's just give a little bit of a background of heading into this. We've got two guests from different areas of the cryptocurrency industry. Jess from Uberstate, a digital wallet and wealth management app that lets users tokenize assets and invest in various markets. Jess can provide insight into the inner workings of a crypto platform and just the general development of the crypto space. Nikita Sachdev is the co-founder of a PR firm specializing in cryptocurrency and blockchain platforms, and she's in the unique position of giving us a bird's eye view of the entire industry. Let's start by maybe giving a little bit of background into how you got into crypto and a little bit about your businesses, and if you have to drop any disclaimers, please feel free to do so. Nikita, please take it away.
Okay. Hi, Michael. Hi, Jess. Thanks for having me on. I got into crypto in 2017. I had my business Luna Management back then, still do. It was we were doing production and talent management, and we had one gig that was for a corporation that wanted to do corporate videos. So went in and started reading off a teleprompter about crypto, blockchain, ICOs. It felt like I was talking another language. And when I asked the CEO, what am I speaking about? He told me that $100 in Bitcoin in 2009 would have made me a millionaire by now. So it caught my attention, and I started investing in early 2017 in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. It was my first ever investment. I had no idea how to ever invest before that. 2017, it spiked up. Got really involved, started telling everybody how amazing Bitcoin was because I was riding a peak, and Huobi Exchange saw one of my videos, and they called me in to become their host, and it all took off from there.
Nice. Any disclaimer?
Whatever I say is not financial advice.
Jess, well, how about yourself?
Yeah, I kind of tippy-toed into this environment here in Canada just through having a lot of connections in banking. So there was a couple of guys that I had met that tipped me off that blockchain was going to be, and now currently is heading towards replacing parts of the everyday banking system, just in terms of, being able to send currency anywhere in the world. That set me on a little bit of a course. And in 2017, we really started this company as a way of potentially crowdfunding real estate assets, because that was the majority of my time was either spent in commercial real estate or banking. And so with the boom of ICOs, just like Nikita was saying, and the growth of the industry, we figured out how to kind of connect the dots and remain compliant here in Canada by having a transactional license for taking, fiat currency in small or large amounts and turning it into cryptocurrency and vice versa. So it's been quite the growth path, but shout out Bernie Shimkovitz for letting me in on this great secret. Without you, I probably wouldn't be here now.
Thank you, Bernie.
Yep.
Well, that's a great little intro. Let's jump right into it. Nikita, what challenges do crypto companies face? And then there's hacks, regulatory environment, reputational damages, and then just, I guess, building a network. What does that look like?
I feel like it's the first thing is getting that mass adoption. And of course, the second thing is that because of the not getting mass adoption is the authorities, Bitcoin and blockchain versus the authorities. I feel like there are many things in the way of that. A lack of legislation, a lack of legalities behind it. But then it's also difficult to do that because it's decentralized. So it's meant to cut all the middlemen out. So it's been a very sticky situation. But I think this whole industry is still very immature. Like, we're still very new into it. So I think that there will continue to be obstacles for the next 10, 20 years at least. Other obstacles that I think come in the way are usability, like how do people actually start using crypto on a day-to-day life. And there are many projects coming out that are making it more easier to use crypto. But then you also have the volatility that goes around behind some cryptocurrencies if you're not using a stable coin. And then if you are using a stable coin, then you could have issues like scalability. And so there's a lot, and sometimes it can also seem like it's a domino effect, like one thing after the other. I think a few other issues in the way of crypto is security. Like you said, hacks. It can just damage a company's reputation overnight. Just the other day, I think Binance announced that they were that withdrawals wasn't possible at the moment. Like, it was a really short time frame, and Bitcoin just dipped. Everyone just panicked. So of course, people are really scared about it. They always feel like you're treading on ice with crypto. But I think it's just because the industry is still very new, and I think, but the good thing is it's definitely more advanced than computers are, but it's still very new, and we're getting there. So I think it's just a matter of time before we start kind of overcoming these challenges.
You got any thoughts on the subject, Jess?
Yeah, it's a real. I think it goes back to having no real consensus out there on the regulatory side as to what's happening, right? Because different countries are treating it differently. For example, India doesn't really like blockchain. Switzerland really likes blockchain. What leads the adoption is really governments and banks agreeing to work with companies and create that, shared economy. And stay in front of it. However, when you're looking at the gaps globally, what you're also looking at is that this technology could just replace what a bank could do if everybody were to switch over at once, right? So it's like everybody is waiting for it to be legalized, by the governments or the authorities, but it was almost never meant to go that direction. But it did naturally because of what happened in 2017. So,
well, the government does love its taxes, and if they can tax, as long as they can get their taxes, maybe they'll be okay with it.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe a little bit off the cuff, how do you see central bank digital currencies coming into play? Because that's all in the news right now. They're all getting ready for it.
Yeah, I think, once again, a digital dollar is something that we're already kind of working with, right? At least here in Canada, it's pretty accessible to use your debit card or not have to carry cash, right? It's just when it becomes a blockchain, maybe there's more of an implication of usability somehow, or sendability, right? And therefore spendability. I think we're miles away from that here in Canada. I know that there are, projects like Project Jasper that are being put on by some of our vendor relationships like R3, where, the entire Bank of Canada has their own blockchain. We know that, TD Bank, BMO, all the big five have their patents. So, the proof of stake that we're kind of moving towards with the Ethereum blockchain and the proof of work, which most companies are really interested in for their own systems, are almost two different things, right, from the regulatory perspective. And that's why I think it's going to take some time to separate what those use cases are, right, globally. But in particular in Canada, I can tell you that banks here still haven't found a consensus, and it really is who you know. So
it's definitely scary for banks, because if the freaking central banks come out there, they're going to take a piece of the banks for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. And I guess I'm going to throw this one at Jess. How can traders protect themselves from poorly operated exchanges? What are the hallmarks to look out for?
So exchanges that haven't been in, let's say, the ranking system for very long on either CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. For example, we know, because we're an issue of digital currencies, we get approached by exchanges all the time saying, hey, we're in the top 15 on CoinMarketCap, list your token with our exchange. And really, because the technology is very similar from exchange to exchange, you have to look at reputation, you have to look at audience. Are they a regulated counterparty? And if not, from our perspective, it's not worth dealing with it. You can almost tell sometimes just if a website is poorly executed, or there's not any customer service, that these may be two things that it automatically just scream stay away. So
what are your thoughts on the matter, Nikita? You think you've worked with a couple different exchanges, you've seen all this different technology being put out there?
Yeah, so sorry, I missed that. What was the question?
So how can traders protect themselves from poorly operated exchanges? What are the hallmarks to look out for?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think traders will just go with the top trending exchanges. However, which makes it so difficult for newer exchanges to get into the market. But I guess one thing to look out for is just to make sure that the exchange is doing a proper KYC, AML, and just look at where they're regulated, what jurisdictions they're in, and just kind of do some research on the team. Make sure that the team, if it's a centralized exchange, that the team is reputable. If it's a decentralized exchange, I mean, it's risky, but I would. I guess the top three will always just kind of be the go-to exchanges for traders, just because they'll feel safe because of the amount of people that are on there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Operating an FX brokerage, if you're not the top three, then how do you make yourself known? How do you develop kind of a niche for yourself? So I know all about that. I'm going to throw another one at you, Nikita. The Coinbase IPO is obviously a major milestone for the crypto community. Do you think we'll see more companies take the same path?
Absolutely. I think Coinbase really set the path. I think that the SEC and regulators around the world have been kind of anti-listing crypto companies, but with Coinbase going doing an IPO and being so successful, I think it's really opened the eyes to traditional equity markets. And I think that there's so many crypto companies running extremely profitable, high growth businesses, and they'll be very attractive to the equity markets.
Nice. What are your thoughts on that, Jess?
I would tend to agree. When you start seeing companies that are very well run, like Kraken becoming a chartered bank, or Coinbase doing an IPO, there is obviously a growing demand in the equity space for investors to be involved with these companies, because really a lot of what they tend to do is evolve the banking infrastructure, right? So naturally, I think there's going to be several others that come into the equation. I'm still waiting for that foot to drop with Facebook and really see what they're going to do and what their solution may be for some of their customers, right? Because as we know, that was kind of furloughed, if you will. So if there are other companies like that coming in the market, I think investors have a lot to be excited about as well.
That kind of like with Facebook kind of just reminds me, don't ask for permission, just do it and then take the consequences later. You mentioned like investors are coming into the arena. What are the institutional investors kind of looking for them to jump into the space? I'll drop it on. Just go for it, Jess. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. From our experience, institutional investors really are more about preserving their capital, so than necessarily growth capital. That being said, there are institutional investors now looking to get into the DeFi markets and try to understand that space, because the volume of Ethereum and Bitcoin that gets tossed around on a platform like PancakeSwap is the equivalent to some securities exchanges, right? And crypto is that it's like this whole new language, and people are trying to learn it, right? So.
Yeah, I guess Sushi Swap, now Pancake Swap. Okay, I gotta go back to the books and figure that one out.
There's so many: sushi, pancake, cocoa. so many.
Dang. Okay. I was reading this Bitcoin standard book, but that's not inside of here. I gotta get a newer edition or something. And from your side, Nikita, what are investors really looking for? I'm pretty sure you see all sorts of things.
I guess it depends of the kind of investor. Like I think institutional investors are looking for something a little more safe, and they want, of course, something with strong fundamentals, a good team, maybe a business that's already functioning that has turned into using crypto, and not the other way around, like a company that wants to raise crypto to start a business. So, but like I've noticed the younger investors, the millennials or Gen Z investors, they want high risk, high reward investments. So they'll go into all these dog coins that have recently come up, Sanshu, Bishu, Kishu, Akita, I don't know, all these like little doggy coins that have come out that are skyrocketing 3,000% in a day. And I've noticed just the younger, the more risk adverse guys are like, oh, tell me what to invest in, which is the next dog coin that's going to move. So it's just very different appetite.
But let's create a panda coin or a giraffe coin after this.
Has to be a dog.
Has to be a dog. I just adopted a pretty sweet dog. We'll do it after a Belgian Shepherd.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I was watching the movie John Wick 3, and Halle Berry had all these dogs. I think they were like Belgian Shepherds. I was like, yeah, those look pretty sweet. When I saw this dog, I was like, oh, it's the same dog. I'm getting it.
Nice.
Getting it. Jess, there are natural liquidity issues in the crypto market due to scarcity and one-sided markets. How do exchanges ensure they have access to liquidity?
So, from what I know, since we're setting up our own exchange, there are business units that allow you to tie into their liquidity pools, and really some of these liquidity pools are very, very deep and probably shared amongst exchanges. On the back end, to be able to assess what somebody's liquidity is from an upstart exchange point of view, it's very difficult to do, because the technology itself is built on artificial intelligence and trading and various algorithms that get plugged in and played as if there was a commensurate amount of volume to what you see, right? So what I would say is, like, if you're going to be involved in any exchanges, look for reputable ones that have been around and, like Nikita said, are regulated, and have evidence of a secure management team. Because if not, then you can get into a situation where very easily you're putting your Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever coin in there, and it's not something that you're going to get back because they'll lock a wallet. So.
Yeah, it's always a scary thing how many Bitcoins are lost and can be lost, and then just seeing the large amount of Bitcoin that are being held on certain wallets that are just not active. So it's kind of like, oh, will the supply run out? What will happen? But as long as price goes up, there's always going to be a willing seller, right? Supply and demand. Well, since you mentioned Doggy Coin or Dogecoin, how do you think that's gonna end, Nikita?
It was so funny because honestly, in 2017, I would have I would have done it, but I think since I've been through that peak and that crash, and now riding this wave, I think I'm a little smarter when it comes to buying tokens, and the thing that I go by is buy the rumor, sell the news. And I did that with Dogecoin. I'm not too sure now what's going to happen with it, but all I'm going to say is do your own research. First of all, disclaimer, and second of all is my advice is go for tokens that actually have fundamentals behind it, that are maybe solving problems, that actually have good use cases, and that will be there in the long run, like Ethereum, Polkadot, Wax, even if it's something like a trending one, like Wax is for NFTs, whatever it is, just does it have fundamentals? Does it make sense to you? Does it have a use case? Good. Is it a coin made of a meme? Do your own research.
What the heck is a meme? That's how you know I'm so not woke, because I don't know what a meme is.
So Dogecoin was made as a joke.
Joke.
After it's a meme coin, so like a meme, like a meme, like meme. You know what a meme is? It's I
really don't.
No, it's like when someone sends you a picture, it's a picture that's used really often as a joke. There's this dog that it's the dog that's looking sideways kind of thing. It was used as a meme for the longest time. And these guys just got together and took that picture of this dog that was just being used over and over again as a joke and said, let's make this the face of a coin and call it Dogecoin or yeah, I call it Dogecoin. And so, yeah, it was just made for fun. And Elon Musk just recently hacked the crap out of it. Pardon my language, but he just kept tweeting Doge.
It's a hustle. It's a hustle, right?
Yeah, and he started making funny jokes, kind of made you question, is he joking or not joking about that? He was going to use Doge within his company, for SpaceX and for it was just a bit strange, and so it really ramped up he went on Saturday Night Live, and his Saturday Night Live poster had like the dog there as well. So that's when I sold the news, because I was like, can't be. It's like too true to be. It's like, it's too crazy to be true. And right after Saturday Night Live, it dumped like 30-40%, even more maybe. Yeah. So
a $72 billion joke.
I know, right? I just honestly, I just don't get it.
Only some people are going to be laughing and some people are going to be scratching their heads at the end. But yeah,
I know, and some people will be really hating me for saying that I don't get it right now. But like, yeah, I'm sure I'll get a lot of messages after this. Like,
yeah, that's what I've noticed with the community is if you're not on the train, there's going to be an army of trolls after you.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well said.
What are your thoughts on the trolls?
Oh my God, crypto Twitter is so mean sometimes. But keyboard warriors.
Yeah. They can be mean, but they have no substance. Like, come on, just like back in kindergarten. The bullies out there.
Yeah, it's like that.
So I guess building on that, not all coins are the same, and some seem purely for speculation, while others with limited supply seem to be better for long-term investing. How would you describe the main differences? Well, I guess you kind of touched on them, but let's dig a little deeper. I'll throw that one to Jess.
Going back to it, it's really an examination of is this a that have emerged from the trend in 2017. You look at companies like Ontology, like Zakilla blockchain, Polkadot. There's really a plethora of new altcoins coming out with very strong communities behind them. So what we hope to do with Uberstate is create that real world use case where people are using their debit visas and exchanging RIT for fiat currency to pay for grocery store items or rent even, right? I think a lot of what happens in crypto doesn't seem real to a lot of people because it happens in this virtual space, right? Like you talk about like the metaverse, there's also the cryptoverse, and it's knowing what counts as like a thing, right? So I would just say that just like email affected the way that we communicate, crypto will ultimately affect the way that people interact monetarily globally. So
you got some real estate in the metaverse, Jess?
We're actually on a trend with, I don't know if you've heard this company, Superworld, to do something. And after that, there should be multiple properties in the Superworld application that are Uberstate owned and operated that you can buy and sell with RIT as well.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So can you go take a nap in your real estate over there, or is it
maybe
just put on the VR set?
Your VR glasses, you can take a snooze.
My kids are going to be at least like 15 before I let them go on the internet. God damn. I'm going to live in the internet.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, going off the grid. What are your thoughts on the metaverse, Nikita?
I don't know, actually. I don't know much about like this metaverse.
Yeah, because we live in the real world, but yeah. Gonna buy some overpriced NFTs and that I could just right click copy and then
it is getting strange though. Like I will say the other day I read about an NFT where you're buying property in a digital world, and you own the property that doesn't physically exist, and people can rent that property too, and farm on that property and use that
Wow.
property. So it's like it's getting like really futuristic and crazy. But I'm just like I'm not too involved on that side of things because it just goes over my head right now.
Yeah, it's like World of Warcraft. People are making money playing the video game. It's kind of the same right now. People are making money
Yeah,
playing.
like I know a lot of gamers that really resonate with that. But as someone who's not much of a gamer, I've never really been a gamer. I guess maybe it doesn't really relate to me yet.
Yeah, I haven't partaken in the WoW, but maybe I should have. I'm gonna just drop a quick note for the audience out there. If you have any questions about any doggy coins, butt coins, or anything that could make actual sense, please drop it in there. We got some experts on here that can maybe help us get to the bottom or debunk some of the stuff. I'm going to throw one at Jess, and then maybe I guess Nikita can jump in on that one. There seems to be two factions in the space. There's the hodlers, and then there's the traders. What are they, and what's your take on the divide?
So really, the divide are people who are in it really to acquire a store of value, right? And people who are in it for daily, weekly, in some cases hourly gains. And there's a whole community really between the two. A lot of our investors at Uberstate, or purchasers, as we call them, are people who want to hodl or stake. Although there's maybe some price fluctuations, like market fluctuations, that they need to get used to over time. It's kind of the slower and steady approach, but there's different ways of doing it. Like the traders, obviously, you've introduced me to a couple of people in that business, and we know a few people. They're in it to win it on a 5-minute Bitcoin chart. So it's almost like the difference between being really advanced and being maybe a little bit of a novice, or really getting to know this space. So,
your thoughts on hodlers versus traders?
I think it's the same in traditional markets. You have people that are in it for the long run, and you have people that are in it just to make a quick buck. And I think the volatility that crypto has makes it very attractive to those traders. I tried trading futures today, and I got wrecked. So I'm definitely more of a hodler. It's not for everyone, but I think those traders that do trade really have fun with it.
Well, I can definitely tell you from all the research that we've seen, speculators get blown out. Investors are what I call hodlers, I guess, similar to those. They just make an investment, and over time they see it rise. And those are the most successful ones out there, the ones who can just set it and forget it.
Yeah.
And then from the trading aspect of things, I know a lot of traders are kind of moving over to the crypto space, because if you're trading currencies, you're really trading on fractions of cents. You're trading on cents. You're 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent. But when you're trading on crypto, it's a matter of dollars, and you're seeing when a price can move a few $100s or $1,000 in a day. If you're trading with any sort of leverage, the amounts can be pretty big. And I guess the traders from the old days, from the floor, with the advance of technology, the whole edge for them kind of just got smaller and smaller. And that's why a lot of them were like, let's go to the crypto space. We can have that edge again, where there's thousands of dollars a day, hundreds of dollars a day. We can definitely, trade in, trade out of that, and make some money. So I'm kind of seeing wherever there's money, the brains will flow. Let's see. I think there's a message coming in here. What do they say? Okay, let's make sure this question's a decent question. Okay, this is a good one. Adam Snell, Carol Baskin from Netflix. Tiger King, rare, launched cat-themed crypto coin. Thoughts?
She did? I had no idea.
Wow.
Raising
Well,
money for the Tigers.
I think Elon Musk has made it very clear how much celebrities can have impact on a coin. But I guess anyone can do it. And I guess if she has a CSR behind it, or it's she has she's doing it for the wild animals, good on her.
Yeah. She's the only one who can house wild animals, just can't sell them. But oh man, I should put the Tiger King out of business. That was crazy, that one. But I guess with like the space, really like rumors and news can just shoot it up in a day, up or down. Like how do you trying to build something stable in the space? How do you survive those ups and those downs? And because all the naysayers are trying to say, oh, that's it, crypto's done, but it's not going anywhere. It's strong as heck and strong as ever. It's closing on 2 trillion probably now. So it went from 1 trillion and then 2 trillion really, really quickly. So is there any stopping the beast?
I think the adoption of this technology is overwhelming for both regulators and, just any government body globally, right? Because it's so accessible and it doesn't take much to start a coin or create an application or a D-app that to get ahead of something like this, you almost have to let it happen, which is kind of what I see, they've done, right? You're not going to get rid of the volatility because the volatility is what is actually most attractive to people as well. The opportunity set is there. And I think that just where we're at, with the global debt load and countries, printing money to keep the economy somewhat stable during COVID, people are willing to take a little bit more of a risk during this time period. So,
yeah, we're definitely seeing people taking more risks. Definitely. Your thoughts on it, Nikita? Or...
There'll always be people, giving their opinions, and but my personal stories. I know everyone thought I was crazy when I was going all in 2017. But I guess if you believe in it, go for it. No one can stop you. Just when trading, like the one thing that I've learned is in this whole like crypto world is just don't listen to anyone. Like just do your own research and just go with your own beliefs. Like just December when Bitcoin was 10K, someone was like, it's gonna crash, and I sold a bunch, like a lot. And I regret that so much now because I never felt that. Like I always thought it was going to go up, but I was like, no, this guy's an expert. Maybe he knows. And I sold it. And I feel so stupid now for listening to him. So don't listen to anyone and just do your thing.
Was it Nouri El Robini?
No, it was actually one of my clients.
Send him a bill. Send him a bill. I guess, Nikita, regarding crypto regulation, what are your biggest hopes and fears for what could happen?
I hope that the SEC becomes more friendly towards crypto. I hope that taxation is minimal, which I don't think this is going to happen. My fear is what happened recently with the taxation in the U.S. With crypto. It just kind of went out of control, and that's my fear. Is just I guess governments trying to put a stop on crypto. I really want to see countries like India, who really could benefit by using crypto, actually adopt crypto, and I want the governments there to be a little more acceptable towards it. Because I think that it's just creating huge innovation and, giving people who have never had bank accounts and never had IDs to even open a bank account a chance. So I think it's a beautiful thing, and I just hope that this, like, there has been a lot of roadblocks towards that, and I just hope that we can, live in a freer world where people can use crypto as they like.
Yeah, and for you, Jess, how do you face the lack of clarity concerning crypto regulation with your firm? How do you guys navigate those waters?
So we really just recently have bolstered our back end and kind of integrated with Myers Norris Penny and PricewaterhouseCoopers to acquire a best set of practices for audit, which is the primary concern when you have like an MSB like what we have, because it's really, the issue with cryptocurrency is not with the technology itself. It is the ability to manipulate that technology to move money seamlessly in and out of countries or jurisdictions that it should or shouldn't come from, which is primarily the concern of bodies like the SEC or FinTrack or FinCEN or whichever country you're in, right? So the crypto itself and the coding behind it isn't really the issue. What are the proceeds? Where are the proceeds of these purchases coming from, and where are they going to? So how we do that is just by linking into some of the global powerhouses who have global oversight on this business, right? And I think that's how we've grown as a company, is just by acquiring the best practices of other vendors and plugging them in and creating great partnerships. And we have to do something similar with you guys over there at Scandinavian Capital Markets.
Yeah, our license over there in Sweden just allowed us, they updated it, and they're like, you can now do stuff in crypto digital asset space. We're like, that's a nice update. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. We were just like, oh, sweet.
Nice.
We're in the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
And well, speaking of news and more news and whatnot, kind of actually like flows into this question. So Nikita, as someone who studied business and environmental science, what are your thoughts on the amount of energy being consumed to mine Bitcoin? And today we just had something by the Elon just say they're stopping to take Bitcoin because they're concerned about the mining practices out there. Take it away.
I actually commented on his post and got a lot of likes. So if you go on that, you might see my comment. I basically said that I think that something only wastes energy when it serves no useful function, and I think that Bitcoin really weighs out the bad with the good. Good because Bitcoin lets people escape a broken centralized monetary system. As I said, like with India, like it's giving people so many chances, like people that don't have bank accounts, people that don't have identities, like Bitcoin and the technology behind it, blockchain, has opened up so many doors. And I also think that like traditional mining gets a premium. For example, like green iron ore, they get premiums. I think that I think people, I don't know who could implement it, but I think it should be implemented for Bitcoin, mined in sustainable ways as well. If it can be done for like traditional assets, I think it can be done for digital assets too.
Yeah, and to follow up there, when Elon kind of came in and made the announcement that Tesla's now not accepting Bitcoin due to energy concerns, I just thought, where's his data center located for mining?
Yeah.
Right, like that was my thought. I know here in the province of Manitoba, Manitoba Hydro has built a clean energy data center just using their hydrodam technology to power Bitcoin mining. So it's really a question of like, how much are you spending on your energy there, Elon?
And it's a bit like, and it's a bit strange. Like, I know nothing to do with like the whole sustainable energy topic, but Elon just like, I think he just said this to kind of start a bit of a buzz around this topic, because just like I think 2 weeks ago he commented on someone's post saying that someone who was like Bitcoin is like really bringing out creative people to creatively use sustainable energy to mine Bitcoin. Like, it's encouraging it more and more people are steering towards that direction. And he actually commented on one of those posts and said correct, or yeah, agree, or something like that. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, we're not using Bitcoin anymore. So it's, something's up.
Yeah, because he wants everyone to buy his solar panels, I guess, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, I've created a way for everyone to mine Bitcoins energy efficiently. Please buy my stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get ready for that. And Jess, do you think the crypto market could be structured better?
Yeah, absolutely. You could always have a better structure, and what I think government should do is create, kind of like they did with the G20, like an accord of countries that get together and discuss blockchain regulation globally, right? And a standard for what that means on a global scale, because the issues that you're running into now is everybody's has a different point of view, and there's almost no incentive to have a similar point of view. So like once you start that type of communication, and of course now that the space is being led by celebrities, that also is that also becomes troublesome for countries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with regards to, you mentioned some protocols earlier. Someone's asking, how do you decide which coins to buy or which crypto assets to buy? You mentioned there are different use cases that make sense. So what are some of the interesting things that you're seeing in the environment that make that are revolutionary, changing the world? There's DeFi and then there's other spaces. So what have you seen, Nikita?
So I guess to answer the first question, how do I decide? I think the more you read up and the more you get to know the crypto space, the more you understand like which tokens are used for what. I kind of like to compare it to like when you're building a website, you have like WordPress, you have Angular, you have like a few things to choose from. But each one presents a pro and con, and you have to build your product on whichever is best for, whichever suits your website use case. It's something similar with blockchain. Like, each blockchain has its own pros and cons, and so it's like you're building a company on a blockchain. You have to decide what that blockchain can provide for you. So, for example, I know, like, so Ethereum's gas fees were becoming really high. Everyone's like building their product on the Ethereum blockchain. So the Ethereum price is going higher and higher because it's being used, like it has a use case. However, it's getting more and more expensive. So Tron, for example, which is another blockchain, offers transactions for a much cheaper fee. So keeping that in mind, like knowing that, okay, like Tron is now less expensive for transactions than Ethereum, I decided, okay, let me go invest in Tron. So it's just kind of like understanding the market and knowing like what works and what are the fundamentals and use cases behind it. So just a little background check on each project is good enough.
Also, just to elaborate, I think you made a great point there. There are use cases like Tron that are solving issues regarding gas, right? Another big, not issue, but challenge and hurdle for the industry is interoperability of chains. So we have use cases like ADA that address that have their smart contracts being released in July. If I'm an investor and I want something relatively stable, I would look at a project like that with a significant management team, very deep experience in capital markets, and then, what is the product that company is going to deploy? Ask yourself, who are their customers likely going to be, or how much market share do they stand to win from solving this situation? There was a meme the other day on airdrops on Uniswap, and it was funny because the guy, once again, it's like this joking picture. You see $2,000 worth of ETH in an airdrop, and then $25,000 in fees to swap it out on Uniswap. And I tried to do a swap in my trust wallet the other day. I looked at it. I'm like, holy cow, it's $700 to like convert $300 of Ethereum into that SHIB coin. I'm like, man, these shit coins are killing me.
Yeah, for sure.
Only you could use them for
just
toilet
one
paper.
more thing is just to remember to look for a project that already exists and is working and is like at least fairly successful, and then is moving into a token, and not a token that plans to raise funds to become a company.
Well, that kind of like hits on the next one. Like that describes the ICO phase of 2017. Give us some tokens and we're gonna build something. So what is that? It says the question is, do you think there's a chance of a comeback for ICOs? But what do you think they'll evolve into?
I think they've never disappeared. They've still been around. It's just the industry has become more sophisticated. So before there used to be like, just an idea and give me the money and I'll make it happen. Now it's like, okay, like we have a company and we are developing, and in order to like grow, we need funding. So now like makes a little more sense. Like it's a little more polished. So ICOs still exist. I think what's more popular than ICOs is IDOs or IEOs. So initial exchange offerings or initial decentralized exchange offerings.
Old MacDonald had a farm. Yeah. Nice. And Jess, can you explain what security tokens are and how they're different from ICOs?
So securities tokens are generally tokens that represent real world assets or ownership of real world assets. You're seeing that a lot of these protocols are, again, on the Ethereum blockchain. So when you talk about NFTs, NFTs are usually written on a couple of different protocols like ERC 721 or maybe the Polymath protocol that they came up with for securities tokens themselves. So it's really the difference between a currency and like an asset, right? And so when you're talking about tokenizing an asset, you're talking about direct ownership through a representation in blockchain of that asset. And that's really what a security token is. It gets papered the same way a deed would on your house or a mortgage document or an investment into a private company. So there's obviously a little bit more scrutiny on the regulatory side as to where the money is going, how it's being spent, and if there's a business plan that's registered with any body, right? But I think what you're seeing again in the space is that it's so highly innovative. Like artists have come into the space, like you see all kinds of crazy money being thrown around. I don't know if that does anything to legitimize security tokens and NFTs. I don't know if it does, because it just shows how frivolous the money in crypto is. But it also shows the degree of sophistication when it comes to innovating something quickly, right? And this is where I think, once again, authorities and regulators are just so far behind. They're being lapped for the first time by tech companies. So. Yeah.
Well, lots of brains are moving into the space. Guess we got a few minutes left. Let's take a couple of minutes and maybe let's learn a little bit about your businesses and some cool things that you're working on. Nikita, what are some things that you're working on, and some things that you want us to know about in the space?
Okay, so we do PR and marketing for crypto and blockchain projects, and we typically like to take a more hands-on approach, working with you, not for you kind of thing. And so we're very selective about which projects we take on because we really want to be part of the projects. And some of the exciting projects that I'm working on, I have my board behind me of my projects. But I'm working on a decentralized exchange. And it's basically combining, it basically allows users to kind of know if a token is safe or not. And this is an issue that's come up very often with decentralized exchanges, is that anyone, because it's decentralized, anyone can list any token, and you can code it so that maybe you can pump in money, but users cannot withdraw their money, and only the 5 people in the coding can withdraw their money. So people get stuck into these weird kind of rules, and there's so many gimmicks like that, and like they'll pump in volumes of millions. So you'll look at one and then get FOMO and be like, oh my gosh, this token is pumping, get in, and then you can't get out. And that's a DEX for you. That's decentralized exchange. And so there'll be newbies who kind of don't know, like even me, like I wouldn't know how to like go into the coding and understand that. So we're working on a decentralized exchange called Chili Swap, where we had to name it something fun, Chili Swap. And we're basically going to give like a token score that is generated via artificial intelligence, and kind of allows users to kind of know whether this is verified or non-verified. So like, will you be screwed over by the token or not? Like, and then the rest is your own research. But it's just AI that kind of goes through the coding for you. And I think this can be really useful for the industry.
Sweet. Well, I only really learned how many chilies there were when I got to Mexico. And I go to the supermarket, there's like literally like a wall of 30 or 40 different chilies. I'm slowly graduating up the chain. Yeah. I made it from jalapeno to serrano. So we're getting up there. No ghost chilies for me just yet, though.
Oh man, I can. Yeah.
Awesome. And Jess, tell us about the RIT 2.0. How we can use it, and where we can get some.
Yes, as you may have already found out, or I probably mentioned it to you before, we partnered with a company called Turnio to do Visa debit cards. Our virtual cards should be available by around mid-summer for that use case. So you're going to start to see a little bit more advertising and marketing. And we've been fairly active on social media, but that's our primary kind of product delivery for this year in terms of our own roadmap. The further development of that use case would be a digital ledger for real estate, using cryptocurrency that's almost to industry standards. We call it Dream. So that should be out shortly thereafter, I would say within 5 or 6 months. But we're really focused on, as a company, delivering a brand that simplifies the experience of cryptocurrency, whether it's spending, saving, staking, you name it, that can help breed that sort of adoption. So yeah. That's what's new.
Sweet. Well, Nikita, I know you're going to see Arif soon, so tell him I miss him. I'm looking forward to seeing him in LA, and
yeah, for sure.
And it's definitely been a pleasure having you on, Jess. Whenever I get back to Canada, we're gonna hook up over there, and always good to have a nice big Jess hug, and I want to thank you both for taking the time today and joining us and educating the users out here what it is to get involved in the digital asset space, crypto space, and how to avoid going broke. But, yeah.
Thank you so much, Michael, and very nice to meet you, Jess. We'll connect over email.
Okay, great. Thank you for your time, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. All right. Best. Bye-bye.